Yes, hi, hello, and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the DAOPS Foundation Meetup. My name is Bede Walaka, and from ESCOM, and I'll be your host for today. And I hope you all are settled and have your connection stable for the sessions that we are about to have. In this webinar, we will be having four professional lecturers bring you the latest developments in software engineering and the latest developments of the DAOPS Foundation. So do feel free to drop any questions in the chat box that you'd like to be answered. And to begin with, the first of whom I would like to introduce is Mr. Forrest Jing. He is the Chief Evangelist of DAOPS Foundation. So DAOPS Foundation is trying to develop the next generation software engineering infrastructure named ASEM to help global enterprises build a high performance technical organization based on Lean, Agile, CI/CD, SRE, DevSecOps, Cloud Native, etc. So I'll hand the stage over to you first to discuss ASEM, the next generation software engineering structure.
Okay, thanks, Pete. So I'm just uploading. So can you see my slide? Okay. So just hello. This is Forrest, Chief Evangelist from the DAOPS Foundation. Today my topic is about the ASEM, Next Generation Software Engineering Instructor. I'm so happy to be here to just to share some just some thoughts in my career about the software engineering. Okay. So today I just I want to share just 4 parts. The first part is about the software engineering and DevOps, and the second part is about the ASEM. I'll just show details about the ASEM in just in this part, and I'll just share some case study. And oh, sorry, there's some interrupt. And the third part, I'll just share some like their transformation, their Turkey, and the fourth part, I'll just share some DAOPS Foundation. Okay, the first one, yeah. So as we are just software engineer, so we just trying to build the software. So just we want to build their software just maybe to control their scope, to control their plan, and to control their quality. So we just learn from the construction industry and other industry to learn how to build their software more efficiently. So the first one we learn from just like the construction industry, like this building, it's just a PM Financial Center in Shenzhen. So we know that maybe a building could be built in just in time and follow the plan and in a high quality. So why can construction project to be delivered on schedule in accordance with quality, quantity, and security? So why is software engineering? It's very hard to do so. So I just trying to find some problem. I think the problem is the changing demand. The requirement is already changing, and the changing technology. We are just using maybe like their MVC and their microservice and like some service mesh, etc., etc. So everything is changing so fast. And just in software industry, we are delivering non-standard component. Yeah, just maybe two companies are doing their same business, but their software, their component, their code is very different. And software has to facing their evolving problems. It's have to we have to just to improve the software. Just in the building, in the construction industry, we do not do that. So we could just make a summary. Everything is changing in software industry, not like the other industry. So in this situation, we have to face different problems. Yeah, we could not just only to maybe to refer to the traditional industries method. We have to find the way we build the software in software industry. Yeah. So which kind of engineer do you want to be? Yeah, this is the two picture. Just in the left is the Japanese modern times. Just the pipeline is driving the just the engineer. Yeah, we could not stop. Yeah, and everyone just to do just a single things, just a very simple things. But right now, in just like the Tesla factory, yeah, just there are not so many people there. Most of it's just a machine. The machine is built their car just in that thing. So just in the traditional way, the pipeline is the infrastructure of manufacturing. Yeah, just in a factory. So what is the infrastructure of software? We have to find a new way to do so. So we call it software engineering. Maybe it's just could include the method, the tool, and the organization and the culture. So we need to build just a more modern software engineering method to just support how we develop software in the modern times. So I want to share a brief history of software engineering so that we could know what we are talking about. The first, just the first generation software engineering, there is a typical method. We call it waterfall. Maybe most of you, as you know, that we are facing the software crisis just in the last time, and the software industry should learn. We have noticed that we should have learned from the engineering industry, like the construction, like the just the manufacturing industry, to learn how to build a product, maybe just like build a building or just a car. So at that time, the waterfall has come out. Yeah, just in waterfall, we have two words, control and more control. We need to control scope, to control plan, and to control quality, and control the system, the risk, and maybe I will have to control a team, the people. So, and control the cost. So just in the waterfall, we need to make all things to more clear. We have to do the just like the Gantt picture or Gantt plan, just in the traditional way. And at that time, there's also a method called the TQC. It means the totally quality control. So there's come out the semi, just like the then standard or model. That is our first generation. So, but we have facing that we have noticed that it's not easy to control the software life cycle because it's already changing. They're changing requirements, they're changing people, they're changing just like the technology. So we have moved to the second generation software engineering. Just as this situation, we are just typical method. We call it Lean and Agile. We learn from the just like the traditional way from the Toyota, like the Toyota production system. As you know, it's called the TPS. We learn the JIT, the JDK from the TPS. That's the traditional way. We have learned that way into the software industry. So we have just create or just make some to achieve something like their Agile, like the Scrum, the XP. The Scrum is the most popular Agile framework. Just in the world, a lot of companies are using Scrum to practice their Agile. Just in XP, we call it extreme programming, like their continuous integration and like the your story and the pair programming, just the practice in extreme programming, just like XP. And we also have some like a method we call the Lean, like the Kanban, the Lean stuff. Kanban is also a very popular method when we practice the Lean and Agile. We could maybe to find a flow to just to flow my feature from left to right, and we have to limit the WIP like that. And just in China, from Alibaba, there is a method called, just summarized by He Mian, called the lean product development. There is two principles: to focus on the value flow efficiency and to explore and find useful value. We have to make the flow just to flow efficiently, just like the feature, and we also have to find just a useful value. We could not do the things, do the wrong things in the right way. But in our experience, most of our people, they are not practicing their Lean and Agile correctly. They are using their water Scrum 4. Like then, the water Scrum 4, why is that their name? How do we define it? Just like the business has that requirement, yeah, and we will just to develop and test. After we finish the develop and the testing, and we will deploy it and to upload, just to deploy online and to operating it. So there is also just a big stage, not just the iteration way. So that is what Scrum 4. And finally, we are facing some new changes, like we call it just a third generation software engineering in digital era, because everything is changing in digital era. So there's come out like the DevOps and the cloud native container like that. From our opinion, we think because the internet is changing the way we supply the service. Just and before we just deliver software like just like a package, right? But right now we have delivery the value by service, online service. So it's just the internet way, and the software is become more complex. Yeah, it's just we have to use a lot of just like the programming language, and the IT ops is also become more and more important. And finally, most important thing is because the business team is always challenge the IT teams. Just like why you are so slow and why there is so many bugs in their software. So that is the situation. So we want to find some new way to solve the problem. So there's come out the DevOps and cloud native. In there have some a lot of things just changing, and we also call it a revolution. Not only the software engineering way, we just like the application architecture, the deployment, and the packaging technology, and the application infrastructure is also changing. We are just why we want to move from the waterfall to Agile and then to DevOps, because the application architecture is changing. Yeah, we have to use the microservice to solve to make like the decouple our software, because it just become more and more difficult to combine all the functions in one software. And the deployment packaging and technology also changing. And last time we are delivered it by a JRR or just another way. But right now we have to deploy it on just in container, not only on our virtual machine like the Windows and Linux. We have to use their container way. It's just a cloud native way. And the application infrastructure is also changing. We do not need to to configure just maybe a physical server into the data center. We could use their cloud to make their just like scale up or scale down. So just like that, the technology is also changing, so we will change our software engineering way from the waterfall to the DevOps way. So that is the background about the software engineering and DevOps. So we'll move to the core part, the ASEM. We need the next generation software engineering infrastructure that is the ASEM. We called it Advanced Software Engineering Model. Just from our opinion, we called it the cloud-native oriented intelligent software engineering model because we need to build this model just oriented to cloud-native, not only for the traditional application or very big software, and we also need to use more intelligent technology into it. One of our the governing board member from the DAOPS Foundation, we named it KK, the Jing's creator. And right now, he has his new job just in the launching his new company called the Launchable. It's just doing the intelligent testing to use some AI technology to solve the problem about test. So there is a different part. The first part about the process, we have three just the part that the development management. We use the Scrum or Kanban to solve the development management problems, to define the process, to define the requirement, and to fund the way like the plan meeting, like the review meeting, like the stand-up meeting, like the the meeting to just to make the Scrum to run easily. And the second part is very important. We call it software delivery. Most of the practice coming from the CI/CD, and the just the third part technology operation. We use the SIE practice and some like the ITIL process in this part. And after that, we'll face the architecture. We use the microservice way to solve the problem, but solve the architecture problem. There's just a full important the idea or just some concepts I have just to mention there. First is extensibility. We need our our software could be extendable very easily, like their API, like their plugin, etc., etc. And their availability is very important, right? We need to just like our DB, our application could always be available online. And the observability means we need to find the log to just to do some analysis, so our software also could be observed. And the scalability means we could just when there's a lot of traffic coming, we could scale up. And for the security, right now in the world, not only in Singapore, in China, in all over the world, the DevSecOps is very popular. Yeah, it's just a hot word. Like we need to make the development security and make the test security, make the IT operation security. And that is the technology things. We also need our organization and culture to be more modern. Yeah, like I'll just share some details after this. And the last one is our platform and tool. Just I think the process and the people is not belonging to any organization. If you find some banks and some companies that they are having a lot of process and they think they are not all just staff, then they are not belonging to their company. Only tools, the platform and tools belonging to companies, because we could to build the rules, the process into their tools, and even neither the old staff or the new staff, they will follow their tools to practice. So we think tools is very important for companies. And if you have a good tools, then it will improve their efficiency and to improve your culture. If you are using a very bad tools, it will cause a bad culture. Just in my experience, that is the situation. Okay, so this is the ASEM we named it, and the goal of the ASEM is we called it's a more faster, better, and lower. It's just a business security, business success. We have just two different sides. the left side is about product definition side. We need to make the business and the product correct. We need to do the correct things. So like the CEO, the product manager should to design their product more or just to fit for the requirement from our user. Yeah, so but it's not very easy to do things because the requirement is changing and some requirement from user are not real requirement. So we have to explore and discover useful value in this situation. And the second side is the product realization side. We need to do the development, to deliver the software, and to do the IT operations. So then we need to realize the product or software just in a faster way and a better way. At the last, we need to establish an end-to-end development and operation integrated pipeline centered on flow unit and deployment unit. Yeah, it's a long sentence. Yeah, so I'll just to explain it. We need an end-to-end pipeline. It's from the requirement to the IT operation. Yeah, just we need to compile. Yeah, we need to package. We need to test and deploy, release. Yeah, and some like monitoring. So this is a pipeline. So just what is flowing on the pipeline? We call it the flow unit and the deployment unit. The flow unit, we could call it a feature, or user story. It's a flow unit. We do not want to flow a big software. We just or just a lot of requirement, maybe like 100 features, yeah, or just or several pages requirement document. We do not want to flow that. We want just feature by feature. Yeah, so it's become more or just become small, so we could deliver it faster. And the deployment unit means what? Just like a service, or microservice, or DB, or service, or our web application. It could be the deployment unit. So at that time, we could deploy the service just separately when we finish our feature. We do not need to wait for the DB. We do not need to wait for the web application. We also do not want to wait for the other service. So that is the different way. So this is the goal of the ASEM. They call it the faster to response the changing the requirement, and we need to do to improve our productivity like the more. But we do not to go to the work overtime to do more to write more code or to just do more requirement. Just in the ASEM or in the DevOps, why we could do more? Because we just leave the user's requirement, and we are using the automation way. So the developer, the programmer could have more time to do the useful things. And for better, just the quality and the security. We think we do not need to test our high quality and security. We need to find find a way, maybe online that it's just suitable for us. Because very high quality, we need cost a lot of cost. We need more time to test. But as you know, we could not find all bugs, so we need to find just a suitable way. So I'll just show some detail about the ASEM. There is a part 2, we call it software delivery. This is a model about, we call it the advanced software engineering model. This is the part 2. Yeah, the second part, we call it software delivery. It's just about the engineering. I think every engineer should to master skill, the practice about software software delivery. These are different capability area, like their configuration management, and like their build and continuous integration, their test management, their deployment and release management, their data change, like their database schema. We need to do their migration. And their environment management. We need to use it just like maybe in the Kubernetes, in the Docker to use our software environment, so that it could be more standard and just easy to use, because we use our infrastructure as code. We could use our Docker file to describe what their environment is looking at. And the last one is major feedback and improvement. As you know, just the feedback is very important in DevOps way. So we need to use the measurement metrics to find the problems and the feedback to the teams, and so we could improve. After improvement, we could also to see it in the measurement, maybe like in a report. So this is the most important part. I think just like you could say not just like the practice from the CI/CD in this, it's just very useful for the software to deliver more easily and efficiently. So this is our second part. And as you know, DevSecOps, security, build security in DevOps is also a hot thing. So we have just there is part 5. This is just also a loop. Just in the outside circle, we call it control general risk. That is the things the security teams need to do. Like we need to build their organization, build their security organization to train their person, to their engineer to manage their security skills. Just like maybe like their their SQL injection, we need to know how it works and how to defend it. So we have need some training and organization building, and we need their security team need to build their security tool chain, like their SAST, their IST. We need to build their tools to supply their tools to their teams to use. And after that, it's called infrastructure management. It means infrastructure security, like the Docker, the container, their container security, and we need to do some benchmark about our operation system. So that is belong to this. And after that, we call it third-party management. Like what? Like the third-party people. When we just use their outsource staff to develop, it's very it's also a dangerous thing. Just in my experience, when bank has made a problem, and their outsource people, an engineer from their outsource company has write some code in their bank. When he just go home and he just write their same code and some things about their bank in his own computer, and he has pushed it to the GitHub in our public repository. So that has made some very bad influence to the bank. So that is just like that problem. And another important thing is about their supply chain, like just some dependency. It's also a very important thing. And I have noticed that Cameron from the Sonotype will just to enter some details things about this. I think I really recommend to you to watch to just to notice what Cameron will just share for us about their supply chain attack and their data management. Their like some privacy about their data and the measurement. And in the corner we have their just the control about the development, their requirement, their security about the requirement, security about their design, security about their code. We have some just some rules and the delivery and the operation. I have a case to share with you. You could know it. This is ASEM DevSecOps case study. This is just a process from one of the security company. It's all called, we call it a security company. Not only not doing their security skills, it just their stuff. When we just set up their project, we have to do their security about their architecture, and we have to facing the straight model. We need to straight model to find some just the bugs and like the security coding and the supply chain. When we just finish it, we will go to the DV environment to build to the SAST and the binary hardening. And after the DV environment, we'll go to the SIT environment. We call it software integration testing environment to do the API test, to do the container security, to do the DSC. After that, we are facing the UAT environment, and then we will release to the PRD, the production environment. And when we release, the IT ops will just to control it for the secure ops. So that is the process. Every process will do the security things. And we will just connect all the data into the, we call it the SOP, the security operation platform. And after that, we do the analysis about this data. So we could do one things. We call it the situation awareness platform. We could find if some maybe another bank has been attacked by some the dependency vulnerability. So we could to know that, and we could find if we have the same problem. So this is the thing. So within the ASEM, it's the software engineering infrastructure, right? We call it, because just like maybe you could have read this book. It's called the team Topologies. We have just separated teams into two to divide it in two parts: the infrastructure team and the application team. What is the application team? Just to make it, we are doing the CRM system, we are doing the just commercial system, and maybe we are doing some just like the AI or another just a very complex subsystem. So that is the application team. And infrastructure means the platform team. We are building a Devops platform or the cloud or container cloud, and there is an enabling team like the Devops coach. So we think ASEM could help the infrastructure team to build the infrastructure more efficiently and useful. Yeah. So let's meet the third part. Third part is we call it MTH, is a method to practice DevOps based on the ASEM model, tool, and human. We really suggest the company when want to practice DevOps, they could to use their ASEM. It's an enterprise level standard to just to maybe to guide how to practice DevOps. And we think the tools is also very important part. Yeah, we really recommend for the open source. Yeah, open source has changing a lot of things, and we need to build their tools like a self-service and human. We need just an expert to help us to practice DevOps. So in DAOPS Foundation, we also have released our certification called the DevOps Enterprise Code. Yeah, you could find it on the website. Yeah, okay. I just finished the last part about the introduction about the DAOPS Foundation. I think maybe as you know, the standard of software engineering are either closed or academic. So we are trying to figure out why can't we develop a standard like the open source software, like the CDF, the CNCF. So we have just found a DAOPS foundation named DAOPS. It means the digitalization, the AI, the openness, the practice, and security. We are doing a standard for the digitalization, and we use the AI technology. We have to do other things, openness. We need to do the standards in it's all practicable. We need to use it, not just to for standard like in a paper. And we have to consider security. It's just the first citizen, right? It's our cornerstone. The DAOPS Foundation was founded in 2018. The headquarters in Singapore. We just committing to accelerate global digital transformation through technical standard. And the DAOPS Foundation is MPO, the headquarters in Singapore. Yeah, this is GB. Yeah. And another member also have joined us, like the XA, yeah, the Daimler, the Tencent, and we have another partner to join us together. Yeah, so this is the contact information. You could just find us. Yeah, and here is our upcoming event. We will just hold an event October 20th and 21st. We call it GNSEC, or Global Next Generation Software Engineering Conference. Maybe you could find it. Yeah, and the last, your post we last things. I have three sentences to share with you, and because of time, I will read the last one. The mechanism change behavior, and behavior could improve culture. Yeah. Every people told us that their culture is very different, very difficult to change. But even with changing the process, changing the tools, their behavior will change. When behavior change, your culture will change. So that is our experience, my experience. I really want to share with you that. Yeah. Okay. So that is my presentation today, and thank you so much for listening. I really hope it could help you. Yeah, that is my topics today. Hey, Bit.
Yep. Thank you so much for that presentation.